Hey guys, another week, another waffle. Let's dig in. Okay, so life update for the cut. I don't know, a couple months ago I told you guys 185, yada yada yada. And like you would think that like if I have been locked in, this should be way over by now. You know what I mean? Like how hard could it realistically be? Wrong, bro. Wrong. Dude, it's the biggest struggle ever. Like, I genuinely feel like my body has its own agenda and it didn't get the memo. Like, I'm here force feeding myself as little calories as possible to cut down, right? Because, like, obviously we're fat as fuck and we can't afford this anymore, etc., etc., etc. But, like, I don't know, man. Like, some days I wake up, I'm like, okay, so for example, literally yesterday, I woke up, I'm 186.0. I'm feeling the leanest I've ever been. I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, holy shit, fat is not fatting anymore. You know what I mean? Then, this morning, I wake up, I'm 187. How am I just randomly gaining 1 pound? What are we... Ugh. And it's just like, what the actual, huh? What did I do to deserve this? You know what I mean? But anyways. Alright, moving on. We'll actually get to the juicy part of this week. This is the real banger this week. I have a story that's actually very unhinged that I wanted to share it because I think it's hilarious. So I've got 2 cousins. Ayush in grade 7 and Pranav, who's like preschool, kindergarten, honestly, I don't know. But anyways, this weekend they both hit me with, yo, I'm bored. And somehow this became my problem, right? Because I'm definitely the one responsible for their entertainment. Anyways, I was like, yo, what am I going to do with these little kids? There's nothing much to do. Like, we have nothing in common, etc., etc., etc. Like, I could tutor. No, we're not going to be boring and lame, right? Anyways, so Ayush pulled out a hockey stick that he got from McDonald's. And I was like, yo, wait a minute. That's kind of cool. How did you get that? And now he explains it to me. He's like, oh, you just go to McDonald's, get a Happy Meal, and alongside the Happy Meal, they throw in the stick. And then I was like, okay. And then he hits me with the genius idea. He was like, yo, why don't we go to McDonald's, you get the Happy Meal that comes with the stick, give me the food, and you can have the stick. And then I was like, yo, why is this guy so smart? Right? And then we end up going to McDonald's. So it's me, Ayush, Pranav, and this is legit crazy. So we got 3 sticks and a little bit of food, right? First stick, well, actually, let me explain the sticks a little bit. So from these sticks, it's like a random mystery box. You can pull one of 7 players. It's McDavid, Matthews, Reinhardt, Makar, Hughes, Celebrini, and Motombo, right? And Ayush opens up the first one and he gets Matthews. And now I was like, okay, my turn. And I end up getting Matthews. And then it's Pranav's turn next, but Pranav can't open it, so his brother opens it for him, and then he ends up pulling Makar. Now, I'm not a Matthews guy, right? I want the Makar, because, bro, he scored a goal in the gold medal match, like the only Canadian, plus he's Albertan, etc., etc. So I was like, yo, Pranav is little, so why don't we use this situation to our advantage? And we convinced him that trading Makar for Matthews was a win-win situation. And he bought it. I walked away with the Makar, everybody goes home happy. Story over, right? Wrong. The next day, I don't know what happened behind the scenes at their house, right? There must have been some drama. But Pranav forces his mom to drive him to my place. He shows up and goes, I'm here to take the steak that you took from me. I pulled it. It's mine. Now give it back to me. And I was like, whoa. How does he know? How is he aware? He's not supposed to be that smart, right? So I'm like, okay, fine, no big deal. It's just a steak. I'm mature. I'm older. Whatever. So I take my Makar. I give him Makar. And bro, I kid you not, this guy goes, this is not the steak I pulled. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? How am I going to spawn a stick out of nowhere? This is the one you pulled. And I'm like, okay, how am I going to convince this kid? But then I realized we took reactions of us opening the stick. So then I show him. I was like, yo, look, this is you. This is this Makar. And this is you reaching for the Makar. And then he laughs at it. He laughs a little when I showed him that it's him, right? And he was like, haha, it's me, it's me. And then I'm like, look, there's the Makar. This is you going for the Makar. At the end of the video, he's like, no, 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 no. This is not my stick. I pulled a different stick. So then I was like, what the fuck? What stick did you pull? And then he looks at the wrapper of all those 7 players. He just shows McDavid. He's like, yo, I pulled McDavid. I'm like, bitch, what are you saying? Well, I didn't obviously say that, right? But like, what are you saying? How are we going to pull a McDavid out of our ass, right? And then he's throwing a full fit, yada, 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 yada. And then I was like, okay, whoa, how do we deal with this situation? If I was training myself to be a dad, right? How would I deal with my child? Well, firstly, I would just beat the shit out of him, tell him to shut the fuck up, right? Obviously, I'm kidding. Then I was like, yo, why don't we just go to McDonald's, get a new stick, and then this one, whatever you pull, you can have it, and then whatever, right? So he was like, yes, let's do that. And I was like, okay, hop in the car. He's like, okay, I'm hopping in the car. You know, like, obviously upset little kids type vibes. And then we hit the first McDonald's in town, sold out. And now I was stressing. I was like, yo, whoa, 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 whoa. If all these sticks are sold out, bro's just going to be unhappy for the rest of eternity, I think. I don't know. But then we go to the second McDonald's, and then thankfully they have a stick. So I was like, since we're already here, why not try our luck again? Maybe we do pull the McDavid. Maybe we pull a Celebrini. Who knows? You know what I mean? So we end up getting 3 more sticks, 1 for each of us again. And then from the back seat, bro Pranav goes, no, only 1. You and Bai do not get sticks. I am the only one that gets the stick. And then I was like, whoa, okay, fine, just 1 then. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you know what I mean? And then we end up getting 3. We put the 3 in the bag. We pull 1 out and give it to bro, and I give the bag to Ayush. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how bro noticed the 2 extra sticks in the bag. He just started throwing a fit again. He was like, I told you not to get a stick. Why did you get a stick? Whoa, 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 etc., etc., etc. And then we had to call his mom, and his mom was like, yo, sit the fuck down. And realistically, at the end of the day, his mom was like, to Ayush, she was just like, yeah, I would just give him all 3 sticks. Like, why would you get 3 sticks in front of me? Like, you're so stupid. And then I was like, oh, dang it. Sticks down. You know what I mean? And then we get home, and then he opens all of the 3 sticks. First one, he gets Reinhardt. He's a new player. Up until now, we've only seen Matthews and Makar. But bro pulls Reinhardt. And Ayush was like, holy shit, that's a new one! And then second stick, he pulls Motambo. And then Ayush goes, holy shit, that's a newer one! And it's the only goalie possible, right? So Ayush was like, yo, I kind of wanted the goalie, etc., etc. And the third one, he pulls Matthews. And yeah, bro, at the end of it, Ayush was like, this is so unfair. I hate my little brother. And it was at this moment, I was like, yo, maybe being an only child is not that bad. You know what I mean? But yeah. Alright, let's take it over to the fun fact. And the fun fact we have this week is the penalty box in hockey is also called the sin bin, which is honestly what I should have been put in for stealing a hockey stick from a little kid. But yeah, anyways, that's it for this week. Waffle devoured.